Welcome back. And if you're new here, I had both hips replaced at 34, and this is my week 2 recovery update. And if you didn't catch week 1, you can find a link to it in the description. This week was all about ditching most of the pain meds, feeling more independent, and starting to see real progress in physical therapy. Let's start with sleep. I actually got my best nights of sleep since surgery this week. I'm still mostly on my back, but I can finally roll onto my side for short stretches without much discomfort, and that's a big win compared to week 1. During the day, I've completely stopped using pain meds. The only thing I take is a mild and slightly stronger non-opioid before bed to help me relax and fall asleep. I still experience on occasions little pains in my legs, especially in the quads, that come and go for a couple minutes. And apparently, that's part of the process as your body gets back to working normally. Where I feel the most tension is still around my incisions, but it's getting better by the day. I've also been experiencing something new around my incisions, a lot of itchiness, which is a good sign. That means they're healing just the way they should. Walking feels way better this week. I can even walk without crutches at times, though I'm forcing myself to keep using them, especially for stairs, since that's what my doctors recommended. A big highlight this week was going on my first grocery trip with my mom. Again, still with crutches, but it felt good to do something normal again. On top of that, by the end of the week, the swelling in my legs was way down compared to week 1. And maybe the coolest milestone, I was able to tie my own shoes for the first time since surgery. And honestly, it felt easier than before because I don't have that impingement in my hips anymore. On Wednesday, 8 days post-op, I started physical therapy with Miguel, my PT. He reassured me that the risk of dislocation at this point is basically zero as long as I'm not loading my legs. So the little clicks and shifts I sometimes feel when in bed aren't something to worry about. Miguel also had me lay on my stomach for the first time since surgery. The weird part was realizing how little stability I had when my knees were bent at 90 degrees in that position. It felt like my legs could just fall to the sides unless I engaged my glutes. Without pushing it too much, he also tested my hip flexion, hamstring, internal and external rotation mobility. For strengthening, I pushed his arms out to engage my abductors, pulled his arms in to engage my adductors, also lifted my legs to engage my hip flexors, and we practiced some walking drills with the crutches. By my second session later in the week, he kept it light with some massages and some mobility work. At home, I've added bridges with adductor squeeze, Bennett bridges, and clamshells. And it's crazy. I can actually feel my glutes contracting more now than before surgery. They're not strong yet, but at least I can engage them more. The hardest and most painful muscles to engage are still the hip flexors, but it has improved to the point where getting in and out of bed isn't a challenge anymore. I also snuck in 2 upper body workouts after my PT sessions. And although I'm limited to only using machines, it felt great to lift again. Funny little story for you. I took a little pre-workout before my first session, and as I finished hitting the seated lat pull-down machine, I started seeing little white dots. Then I checked my Apple Watch and my heart rate was at 164 beats per minute. That's usually a running heart rate for me. Probably the combo of pre-workout and the fact that this was the heaviest lifting I've done since surgery. So more of the story, skip the pre-workout. Energy-wise, I definitely learned my limits. Friday and Saturday were long days on my feet and I felt wiped out by the evening. Saturday, I gave myself another scare. I was putting on my sweatpants while standing, lost balance, and had to hop a couple times on one leg to keep from falling. It hurt at first and it was uncomfortable, but luckily the pain was gone by the end of the day. I'm hoping I can skip the weekly scare on week 3. But Sunday though, I had my best day yet. I was able to sleep on my side without any pain, went for a half-mile walk with my crutches, and was walking comfortably without them around the house. So overall, week 2 was a solid continuation of week 1. Less pain, more independence, and some real progress with PT by the day. I'm staying consistent with everything I know helps with my recovery, including eating quality food as I usually do. And I also reduced my caloric intake a little to make up for the fact that I'm not as active as I usually am. If you want to follow this recovery journey, hit subscribe. And if you missed my week 1 recap, check out the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in week 3.